our monthly TLB Club live stream. TLB Club is the Thought Leadership Ranks Club. My name is Bobby Umar. I am the founder of TLB Club. I'm also um, one of the leadership team members, and very excited to have you guys join us today. This live stream is really about talking about why community matters and why it matters to entrepreneurs and small business owners and side hustlers and all that kind of stuff. And I put together a great panel of amazing people who are going to share their knowledge and insights too. So I'm really happy to have you all here today, guys. So I'm kind of excited about that. If you are listening to this chat, by all means, you can comment. This is live streaming everywhere, but you can comment, and maybe we can show some of your comments on our screen. That'll block my face off, but that's fine. And then, of course, let us know where you're from. Are you calling in from? Are you listening in from North America, South America, Australia, Europe, Africa, Asia? Let us know. If you have questions, by all means, put them in the chat. If you have comments, put them in the chat. We're going to share knowledge with you on the importance of community and things like that. But for now, let's start with introductions. I'll start with, we'll go top to bottom of the video. So Melanie, please introduce yourself, and then you can pass on to Roy and then Lynn.
Okay, so for those that don't know who I am, my name is Melanie Mitchell-Wexler. I am a career coach as well as a LinkedIn strategist. So I help individuals, particularly
in the chat, if you have comments,
executives and professionals, be able to, we got a little feedback there, but be able to identify their opportunities and ways to develop their professional strategies, whether it is pivoting their careers or utilizing LinkedIn. So yeah, super excited to be up here with you guys with some of my favorite people. So Roy, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you so much. As it says in the on the caption, my name is Roy Kowalski. I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia, 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. I call myself the promotional product disruptor, and I do this because in a sea of sameness, there are so many companies that are trying to get their dream clients' attention, and they're just not sure how to do this. And so we can't just do it with the same things for every single person. So what I do is I utilize my experience of working with Fortune 500 companies to assist small and medium-sized businesses with their branding and marketing and aspects that they require attention. And I utilize LinkedIn as a means to share my story, to showcase what I do, why I do it, how I overcome challenges. And of recent, I've been talking a lot about preparing companies for trade shows. And I'm utilizing LinkedIn to share this knowledge, experience, and expertise with others. The reason being is that many companies decide they're ready to go and exhibit on a trade show. They go and buy a stand. They pay $7,500, $10,000, and then they say, "What should I do next?" And that's where I come in. I have a process that I have a whole way of explaining and demonstrating what can work and what doesn't work. The reason that I can do this is because I've done it many, many times. It's called experience. So that's what I do. That's who I am. My name is Roy, and I'm out.
All right. Well, I'm Lynn Williams. I'm based in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and I write resumes, LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn company pages, and my big focus is on keywords. In addition, you can see the website, greatcareers.org. That is a 501c3 nonprofit that I run as executive director. We do 18 to 25 events a month that appeal to job seekers, client seekers, as well as employed professionals. So my focus is basically on career documents and also career education. So I'm also a speaker and presenter and a writer. That's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that. And for those who don't know me, my name is Bobby Umar. I'm a motivational speaker by trade. I've done 1,000 keynotes and workshops across 4 continents in the last 20 years. I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker, and I have over 750,000 social media followers. I focus a lot on personal branding, thought leadership, vulnerable storytelling, and of course, LinkedIn, video content, and content strategy. I also help people on TED Talk, and I also run the TLB Club. The TLB Club, if you didn't know what it was, It's a membership community. It's a membership community designed to help people elevate their brand, their voice, their strategies. If you're a business owner or entrepreneur and you want to be part of a really powerful community, we encourage you to join TLB Club. Come to one of our Zoom calls. You can learn more about who we are and what we do. You can basically there's weekly coaching calls. There's weekly check-in calls, tech clinics, LinkedIn clinics. We have a private WhatsApp group, a LinkedIn group. We're launching a brand new private Heartbeat group where you can ask questions, get feedback on everything, your programs, your funnels, your profiles, your sales. You can talk about mindset. You can talk about whatever, but it's a place where you won't feel alone. You'll have every resource you need, and a bunch of people who are really committed to helping you grow and become really robust to have this whole boats. Which leads to the question about the topic. You click on the QR code if you want to learn more about it, what we're doing. By all means, check it out. But let's talk a bit about why community matters. And I kind of want to go back to, I would love to maybe give you guys a question like, when's the first time you actually found community as a business person? I'd love to understand that. So let's start with you. I'd like to hear that.
Start with who?
Start with Roy, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me just, so I suppose, I found community a long time ago because I'm from a young age, I was involved in community service work. And really, if you cannot belong to a community to help others, there's not much impact that you can make. As they say in the classics, one person doing something can have, some effect, a little ripple effect. But guess what happens when you have a crowd of people doing the same thing all together? That becomes more of a wave. So that's where I come from, is when I was a young age, which I'm not going to tell you how old I am now or then, but it was a good few years ago, many years ago. And from that time, I got a sense of gratitude. I got a sense of warmth in my heart when I was part of a community and contributing. It's all very well to say part of a community, but let me rephrase it, that the important part of being part of a community is to be active in that community. It's all very well to be in the community, but so for me, I've always been part of communities, and I've always been actively part in communities. When I arrived in Australia 17 years ago, I lost my business. I lost whatever I had. I had to start again in a new country, no money, no network, a family to feed in a strange country, and it was quite an onerous aspect. And so how did I manage to overcome this? I did this by embracing other communities. And once you're part of a community and you're actively part of it, and you hear me say that word, actively part of it most of the time, once you're part of a community and you're actively participating, what takes place is you have other people that care about you as an individual as much as you care about them as an individual. So that's where I've come from. And when I started on Clubhouse, when COVID was in place, I discovered and I met Bobby, as it so turned out, and one thing led to another, and he invited me to come on to the TLB. And all I can say is that, community is what keeps us together. Community is what supports us. Community is what enables us to achieve more things than any individual can do. So I'm thrilled to be part of the community of the TLB, as well as other communities, but particularly the TLB, because what we do is we have a whole lot of people that care about each other, a whole lot of people that support each other. And I'm going to make an announcement now that none of you know about, but I'm planning a trip next year to the US and Canada. And guess what? On this trip, there are going to be focused people that I want to go and see, and I want to spend time with. There we go. You see, I'm going to go to Disneyland with my friend Lynn. She doesn't know it yet, and Bobby, I'm coming to visit you. So here we go. This is what community is all about, and Mel as well, obviously. And that's what community is all about. Is now that I have these friendships around the world, now I'm going to put them into physical practice, I'm going to visit these people. So that's what I do. That's how important community is to me. My name is Roy, and I'm out.
Let's go to Lynn, because Lynn, you have a lot of different things going on in a lot of your communities. But I'd like to go back to the early days when you first kind of either discovered or leveraged or found community that helped you along your journey.
So I was employed for quite a number of years, and then I started working on a business, and then I decided to go full-time in 2017. So as a solopreneur, the pandemic did hit, and I discovered the Thought Leadership Branding Club on Clubhouse in January of 2021. I've been in this community, in the TLB, since that time. So, oh my goodness, what is that? 4.5 years. I find that as a solopreneur, I need support in knowledge, in learning, bouncing ideas off people. It's kind of like a board of directors, so to speak, when you're all by yourself. And I run my own community. I have over 7,900 people on my meetup, and then more on my website. So my community serves a different sort of faction of people. We have mostly job seekers, but we do have client seekers and employed. But we provide career education. TLB also provides career education, but the level and quality of speakers that come to do master classes is just mind-blowing. I can't believe the caliber of people that we have where I can learn. And the beautiful thing is, because of being a member, there is an amazing library of YouTube videos. If I have something going on, I can go back and listen to various recordings over again, or watch the ones that I've missed. So it's pretty amazing having a community that's not too big, but not too small. And you have all kinds of people that have all kinds of ideas and levels of expertise, and then subject matter experts that come and get invited in. So it's helped me grow my business, tweak my business, and give me ideas and confidence. Sometimes when you lack confidence, I love the giving spirit of the TLB. One of my favorite books that I came across in 2013 was The Go-Giver. And that's kind of the vibe that I get from the TLB. It's people are very giving. And, I feel like I'm the beneficiary, and I'm able to give, in my areas of expertise, but it also comes back to me. So you reap what you sow.
All right, let's go to Melanie on this. Actually, before we go to Melanie, I'll share something, which is like, I think community follows us everywhere. I think my first community was, my school friends and my family and things like that. But I think the first time I became part of a business community was in high school. I joined this thing called Junior Achievement. I'm not sure if they have that in the US or other places, but basically they take people in high school and you start a company with a couple of advisors, adult advisors. And I did that in grade 10, grade 11, and 12. But by the end of grade 12, there was like 300 of us. We all knew each other, and we had this big gala dance at the end. It was a big community, and we're all saying, okay, what business are you running? What are you running? Okay, let me give you some tips. What was amazing was that, even though people thought we were in competition with each other. I mean, sure, people want to win the big award and have the most successful company, but we were all cheering each other on. Hey, have you thought about this? Hey, what about this? Oh, I love your idea. Why don't you try this? And we were supporting each other. even back in high school. Now, high school kids are far more idealistic and even not as cutthroat, but it was a really, really great community that I realized that the thing that really got to me was here we have a business community where we are in co-opetition and we're supporting each other, which I thought was really, really amazing. So, and when I was in grade 10, the first year, the ones that were in grade 12, because they were older and cooler than I was, I was really appreciative of their support. They brought me in and they showed me the ropes, and it was really fantastic. So that's one of my earliest experiences with that. Let's go to Melanie. I'd like to hear your experience.
So I think it's my experience comes from having been a recruiter for 20 years. Recruiting is a very dog eat dog kind of world. I mean, my first recruiting experience, you basically were told like you can't necessarily trust the person sitting next to you. Fast forward, I start my career coaching business, and I was very much like in an isolated chamber. I came from a world that you didn't collaborate with. Like, I was fortunate as I went through, I had great teams and stuff, but also very much from a mindset of like, well, why would I collaborate with other career coaches? They're my competition, right? So jump onto LinkedIn, pandemic. I'm still isolated in a silo, even with, hundreds of millions of people, quote unquote, on LinkedIn. I'm not interacting with other career coaches because my mindset was such that that's not what I've ever done in my business. Like I operate alone. I operate to my own success. Stumbled on this little TLB, learning, gaining more and more knowledge on LinkedIn. Somehow ended up on the leadership team. Still don't know quite how that happened, but here we are. So now so now I do a lot of things behind the scenes. But I think one of the things that I have gained from my experience, in particular this community, is, for example, just being embraced with other career coaches. Lynn and I are in the same space. We've collaborated. She's, was so gracious when I was really starting off. Come be a speaker at my events. I'm like, okay, am I a speaker? I don't know. Like, is that something I do? I've learned so much about how to operate and run my own business, but I don't have to do it alone. And I can do it with others that are in my space, and we can cheer each other on, and we can be happy for each other to have success. I've been able to be on, quote unquote, a stage, whether it's a LinkedIn Live or a Clubhouse event or LinkedIn Audio, rest in peace, with each and every single one of these people up here. And I've been given, career advice. When I got kicked off of LinkedIn, I had a community to go to that, not only just supported me, but was like, okay, where do you want to go speak? Who should you go to? Like, let's get you in front of this event. No questions asked. And that to me is something I've never experienced in my professional life. Never. Like, really, just like the fact that people would step up to the plate for really somebody like we're just getting to know each other, really. That to me is what's amazing. And now, I've been given so many opportunities, honestly, through Bobby's coaching, through the advice of others. Hey, increase your prices. Super scary thing to do. Guess what? Since I joined this community, I've seen my business grow. I'm now operating at a much higher level, talking about higher level things than I was when I first started. So to me, just in the short span of, I don't even know, some days I don't even know what day of the week it is, but how many years has it been? 3, or 4 at this point. And that time span has grown so exponentially. But for people that I literally consider my friends, Lynn and I have met in person, but I truly consider Roy and Bobby like some of my biggest cheerleaders in this world. And, I truly say this, I would not have some of the things that I have now in my business if it wasn't for this group of people.
Wow.
And LinkedIn brings community together also. Now, here I am in Pennsylvania. Bobby's in Toronto, 9 hours away. But yet I've met Bobby in person 4 times. Once in New York, once in Detroit, and twice in Toronto. Oh. And Melanie came to Pennsylvania, so I got to meet her. So I'm very excited about Roy coming to the US and Canada and going to Disney. So that is just going to be the highlight of my year next year.
And you
My
know what,
daughter's in
Roy?
Disneyland Paris right now. I'm so jealous. But I've been there. You know, we went there when it was in the 15th anniversary. But it's just crazy how LinkedIn brings people together. And, you know, the people that are in the TLB community, you know, pretty much every single one of them is on LinkedIn, and we're able to collaborate and together and learn from each other.
I want to mention. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say that, you know, on the back of what Lynn said, you know, the underlying importance of community is giving. That is probably the single most important thing about any community, is what are you going to give back to the community, not what are you going to take out of the community. Because the biggest and warmest feeling that anybody can get is in your heart when you're giving. It's a very different feeling to when you're taking. When I say take, I don't mean physically take, but when you're receiving and you're getting things, very different to when you're giving. So I just wanted to, you know, say that on the back of what Lynn said, and obviously what all of us have said so far, is community is about giving. What can you contribute to the community to make, you know, the world a better place?
And first, I want to thank you all for both talking about your stories about why community matters, and also talking about why it's great to be part of the TLB Club community. I appreciate that, because that means a lot to me, because there's a lot of heart and soul of me putting it into TLB Club. But I also want to get into some more specific tactical things, because the thing with communities as well is, like, let's talk a bit about multiple communities, because here's the thing, like, I'm part of multiple communities, right? I'm part of the whole community. I'm part of the LinkedIn Top Voice community. I'm part of the Toronto LinkedIn local community. You know, there's in-person communities, there's virtual communities, and of course I run TLB Club community. And so I guess the question that becomes, you know, for you guys, has two questions. One is, how do you choose what kind of community you want to be part of? And then number two, how do you then manage your time within those different communities? And I'm going to start with you, Lynn, with this one, because you are everywhere.
Oh my gosh. So I don't do 8 a.m. That's not my witching hour, but I am a night owl. Now, I have a Google Calendar. I have color coding stuff on my calendar. And I also, because I'm a Disney nerd, I work hard to Disney hard. So how do I balance it all? Well, again, it's all on my Google Calendar. For the TLB Club, because I put such high level of importance, every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, I have that time blocked on my calendar for the masterclass. In addition, you know, I have the time blocked for the member coaching call on Mondays at 3 p.m. And then I have the time blocked for Melanie's and my monthly LinkedIn session where we review other people's profiles. I also have the time blocked for the tech clinics. So I think on the first and third Wednesday, it's at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, and the second and fourth, it's at 5:30 p.m. I have those important times blocked off. And I work my life and my own community around it for the Great Careers Network to run, you know, the job seeker and client seeker events. And I also speak for SCORE in Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Jacksonville, Florida, and Pennsylvania. And if I have my calendar blocked with things that are important to me, I book my availability and time around it. So when you want something to happen, or if it's important to you, you block the time. Now, here's one thing that does run into some bugaboos. So, for example, I'm so excited about a subject matter expert speaker coming on September 25th to talk about Substack. Well, I've committed to the Pennsylvania Conference for Women that day. I can't make it, but boy, oh boy, I'm going to be all over that video if I'm still at the conference. So the beautiful thing about it is having the availability to go back and revisit, but you just juggle family time and your other work time and your client time, and you make it all fit in. And I swear by my Google Calendar because I'm calendar driven. If I didn't have my calendar, I wouldn't know how to run my life.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and maybe I'll go to Melanie to talk a bit about. Tell me a bit more about how you would choose a community to be part of. What goes through your mind with that?
So I will say, up until recently, I've just kind of expanded my space. I saw Chris Colt was here. I've recently joined his group coaching program, and he's has an amazing community of people. But prior to that, I am very selective about my time and where my time is going to go. So I really I have very specific, like LinkedIn. Now we're doing LinkedIn lives with fellow career coaches, many of whom are part of TLB. I also developed the LinkedIn 101 used to be, and then it became LinkedIn Rockstar. That came out of being in the TLB club on Clubhouse. So there's all these ties. So I am very dedicated and committed to the TLB. So I want to be very transparent about that. But also in that span of things, my commitment to that is to make it the best experience possible for all of its members. And so just like Lynn, every Thursday, I'm there for the masterclass. I'm there to learn. And I'm there to really, and I don't go just to show up and support. I go there to actually learn from other people what's happening. And I don't consider myself the most techie kind of person. I can survive pretty well, but I can get flustered really easy too. And so I want to learn about the new tech things that are happening. What are the challenges? I want to learn from that. It benefits me to partner with Lynn. We do a monthly, LinkedIn clinic because I can continue to learn from others that are doing the same work in the same space. So for me, I, just recognize, obviously we all have the same, well, I don't want to say we all have the same 12 hours because Lynn, I don't know how she does all of the stuff she does. So I don't think she has the same 12 hours in a day. Roy is up at the crack of dawn, which I am not. So Bobby and I have the same 12 hours of space. We operate in the same time zone for wake up call, bedtime. We're in that same space. But the other two, I'm not quite sure about. But, we all have the same amount of time, really. And so you do have to decide what is important to you. What is it that I want to gain out of this? And I think Roy actually is the one that mentioned it, that I really would emphasize to people when you're thinking about either starting a community, joining a community, whatever that may be, you really have to show up. If you really want to get the most out of it, you need to show up and participate, because that's going to be where the transformation happens. If and you can't always, truthfully, there are some, master classes I'm not able to attend, and that's okay. I sometimes I feel like I'm missing out, messaging, and I'll be like, wow, that was a great, everyone's loving it. But you've got to give yourself grace in that. It's okay not to attend everything. But showing up and making it a little bit of a priority. Hey, this month I'm going to attend one master class. Who's the speaker that I want to hear the most from this month? And if that's all you can do, that's great. But you can also do other things by messaging, even if you're not part of TLB, you're part of another community, get to know other people in that community, schedule times to talk, have conversations. I just did this with a member of Chris Colt's group Nancy Zare and I, we just had a great offline meeting where we were getting to know each other. So, and yes, shout out to Mr. Simpson. Thank you, Meryl. I live on Mr. Simpson's time zone. That is true. Thankfully, we have moved away from the 4:30 wake up call because that wasn't cutting it. Like, so we'll end on that note because he always has to have a shout out every single live he does. His audience shows up for him. So.
And going to Roy now. I mean, Roy, I know you're also part of BNI. So like, I guess the question then becomes like, how do you choose which ones to be part of and versus the ones you're not part of? I mean, I'd love to understand like, what are some positive signs and what are some, warning signs that maybe it's not the right one for you?
Well, my process, first of all, I can obviously resonate with Lynn because I think the two of us, we do multiple things. So the analogy that I use to choose, because that word choose is a very, very, a very loose word in this particular context. But the way I sort of explain it is that, you see behind me over here, I've got a whole lot of little shelves. So on the shelves will be all the little communities that I belong to, BNI, TLB, local Sydney, a LinkedIn local Sydney, and so on. And the way I explain it is, today I take off the shelf the TLB and I only concentrate on that. While I'm busy with the TLB, I don't have a look about BNI. I only concentrate on the box that I've taken off the shelf. And that's how I do it. So for me, the focus will be on what I'm busy with. So I don't choose, that today I want to do BNI or today I want to do this. I see where there's a particular aspect of the community that I'm going to be doing. Like, for instance, now, I'm focused on this LinkedIn Live at the moment. Tomorrow morning, I cannot make an event because I have my BNI meeting. So tomorrow, off the shelf comes BNI. And yes, I am successful at what I do. I've been in the top 20 achievers in BNI for 38 particular times, the whole of Australia. That's 20 people out of the entire BNI community. Now, that doesn't make me a master or a hero, but what it does is it enables me to be able to participate in the community when I'm there. When I'm not there, I don't think about, I'm missing this, I should be here, I shouldn't be there. When I'm there, I give 101%. When I'm not there, I don't have any guilt about not participating, because you can't do everything at the same time. When you start trying to do everything at the same time, you end up doing nothing. So what I try and do with communities is try and work out where's the best place for me to be that benefits me and others. So where can I give and where can I learn? So if it happens to be, a masterclass with Bobby, then I know that I will have something that I can give at that particular time and something that I can learn from at the exact time. So that's how I choose, Bobby, is I concentrate, and I call it the word focus. I focus on the area that I'm busy with. I give 101% in that time, and then I don't think about any of the other communities at that time. As soon as I move to the next one, I give that community 101%.
And I think that speaks to the struggle of most entrepreneurs, business owners, of focus, right? So it's hard for us to know where to focus our time and energy. We get very distracted, and it becomes an issue for us. I think for me, I would say that, having been in multiple communities, it's really about value, and values in two forms. What is the value I'm getting from being part of this community? And what is the value that I'm giving to this community? Now, there's some where the value of giving is more than the value of getting. Other ones, the value of getting is more than what they're giving. I mean, so for example, I joined a new coaching program. They have a community-owned school. I'm now part of that. I'm immersed. I'm mostly getting than giving because I'm basically answering their questions and doing the coaching and doing what they're telling me to do. When I'm in TLB Club, I'm mostly giving, although I'm still getting lots too, but I'm giving because I'm coaching, supporting everybody, answering questions, all that kind of stuff. And then there's some groups where, Can you guys see me? Okay, sorry. For a second, I disappeared. There's some groups out there where I was there. I'm giving. I'm getting. The value is good either way, but sometimes it wanes, and that's okay. And so I start to let that go. I mean, I'll give you a quick example. I was heavily involved in the LinkedIn Top Voice community. There's a group on LinkedIn, and we have a little WhatsApp group. And while I'm not as much heavily involved as I was anymore, but sometimes a question comes up, and I want to answer it, and I'll do that. The whole community, I'm in there maybe once or twice a week, and I'll pop in. So it really depends. But I shift it back and forth. I go in there with purpose. I go in there with focus. But if there's a moment where I'm not feeling the value, whether it's for me personally, for my business personally, for the friendships and connections I made, or it's there's too much, it's taking too much from me, or there's not enough that I'm getting from it, I have to think about where I want to adjust. So I evolve and adjust, but to me it's all about the value. And that actually brings me to my next question, which is, we're all part of lots of communities, but look, the truth is TLB Club is a paid community. We encourage you to check it out. You're welcome to come to one of our Zoom calls and with the guest masterclass. In fact, I believe next we have one. You click the QR code. We have one. One of our members is doing a talk tomorrow on flow, and we have another one next week with one of the gurus of personal branding who I've followed for years, named William Gruda. That's gonna be an amazing talk. So make sure you check that out. But you can come for free twice. But then we say, you know what? If you want to participate, you got to pay. So the question I'm getting into now is, well, what makes you decide to go into a paid community? Like, what's the difference? And why should entrepreneurs and business owners pay, and what to look out for that type of thing? Because I think many of us, I was on a call with another TLB member earlier this week, and he's in 4 paid membership communities, and I was like, wow, that's. So I was like, why are you with us? He said, well, I like the people. They're really, really nice, and they answer questions. They're very supportive, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I thought that was really interesting. So I kind of want to go into that discussion about, paying versus doing the free stuff. The TLB Club is a paid community. One thing we are announcing is that, our price is going up. But, you can try it right now for $39 a month. For 1 month, try it a lot. If you don't like it, you can leave. Or if you do like it, lock in your price forever. It's grandfathered in. But, our price is going up. And we're actually, it's going up next month. So we're letting people know that that's happening. You can still check it out, but I think you'll get incredible value. But let's talk about that. And maybe I'm going to go to Melanie first on this one. So Melanie, talk a bit more about the idea of paid versus the free communities.
I think when you pay for something, you're actually saying to yourself, I'm going to invest in myself. That's really the key, is whether you're paying for whatever type of service it is. It doesn't even have to be a community. It can be a coaching service. It could be a product that we go out and purchase or something like that. But that's the investment we're making in ourselves. And so that's, for me, like, okay, what is, from behind the scenes, what is the experience that we're curating for our members, and giving them that opportunity so that they can, really truly benefit from that. But I think when you do have to, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, or, from a business standpoint, if you want yourself to grow and to expand, you need to surround yourself with people that are going to push you to do that. And that's really, honestly, when you're in a free space, there's nothing wrong with a free space, but psychology has proven this. I don't have the facts, but it's proven it, that we tend not to actually show up and do the work, because there's nothing tying us to that. So just mentally, it's the investment. And then you can start to see, wow, that $39 investment, look at what that's paying off. I mean, you mentioned too, Bobby, some of the speakers that we have. I mean, we have William Aruda coming up. You're not going to pay. You're never going to have an opportunity to hear him speak for 30 minutes for $39. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. Like, that's just never going to happen.
That's $10 a week.
Right. Like, you're just never going to have that opportunity. And we've had some amazing speakers that have actually given such great advice, that those little mini sessions, and for me, with a person that can, that can be the squirrel and the shiny object syndrome, getting bite-sized pieces of information that I can go and then implement into my business is that's helpful for me. I can digest it, I can implement it, I can use it, and I can learn from it. So to me, it's about the investment. And everybody has a different motivator. Like we have members that just love our, hey, I just love the people. I love the people. I love the coaching. I love so everything's going to be slightly different for you. But when you make that investment in yourself, that's when, in my opinion, real growth starts to happen because you're willing to show up.
Roy, I'd love to. Sorry, Lynn, you going to say something?
Yeah, just a shout out to Brenda Meller. She calls a term co-opetition, right? So that's what I feel is what TLB Club is. It is co-opetition. As Melanie said, she and I both do the same thing, but there's plenty of business for both of us. I learn from her, she learns from me, we learn from other people that do, our craft. So it's about learning from each other and having that open mind to be willing to share and not be threatened by it. I mean, we help each other, and all tides lift all boats, right? So we will ride together.
Awesome, Roy. What do you think about this? Paid communities, membership communities versus free ones.
Well, I belong to a number of paid communities. I belong to John Asperian's group. I belong to Lynette Johnston's group, and I paid to belong to it. So the criteria that I put for myself is two things. What can I learn from the community, and how can I support the community? So in John Asperian, and I'm just going to use those two as an example. And the TLB goes without saying, that's giving and participating. But what I do is I say to myself, if I belong to this community, if I'm prepared to pay to belong to it, what value am I going to get out of it? How am I going to benefit? What am I going to do to grow as a person? And if I can tick those boxes, then I'm happy to pay. And at the same time, and I'm very grateful to those communities, including the TLB, is that they do lean into my knowledge and experience and expertise many times. And that's the beauty of community. So I'm happy to pay if I can get some value out of it, if I can learn from it, but I also want to be able to give something back. So I know that I want to support Bobby and Lynn and Melanie and all those in the TLB club. And I can support them in many ways. Bobby and I have had many one-on-one personal conversations that have helped each other. And that's what community is about. So if I can see that there's value in me paying to be part of a community, I'm all in. Thanks, Bobby.
Awesome. And I know that Lynn has to go soon to another event, but I maybe want to give Lynn a chance to share. Tell us a bit about, I guess, your take on, community TLB club. What value you're getting out of it, and why is it so good for small business owners and entrepreneurs?
So, back on the paid community, I mean, if you put a little skin in the game, you value what you put in. So you want to pick and choose the communities that you want to put that skin in the game to. It has to provide value back to you. And so when I think about the Thought Leadership Branding Club, I know there's lots of other communities that I keep getting invited to, but for the value and the people, I mean, it's just, it's just mind-boggling. If you take that $39, which is the current price before it goes up, that really is only $10 a week. And if I have a 1-hour coaching call, a half an hour tech clinic, a 1-hour masterclass, that's 2.5 hours into $10. Like, oh my God, it's like a no-brainer, right? And I know the price is going to go up. So, carpe diem, seize the day. But I really think it's an amazing group of people that are attracted in this community. And we have a lot of career coaches in here, but again, we help each other out, share ideas, and I kind of like that. I don't feel threatened. I don't look at anybody as a competitor. It is co-opetition. And who can be in this community without a shout out to the most amazing Merrill Cass, who I don't know how he does it. He makes every single doggone meeting in the Thought Leadership Branding Club. So holy smokes, Merrill Cass, you are amazing, and shout outs to you, my friend.
Thanks, Lynn. I do appreciate that. And, I think that for me, like, when I think about paid communities, I like to say the skin in the game. And, Chris Colt was listening to our live stream earlier. He convinced me to go from a free 5-day challenge to a paid one, because in the free challenge, I had 150 people show up. And then by the end of the 5 days, there was only like 20, 30 left. And then only a couple of booked calls, and then nothing really happened. There was no effort or skin in the game. When I turned the 5-day challenge into a $100 and a $300 investment, people were there. They did the work. They got to where I wanted to go by the end of the 5 days, and then they booked extra calls. Next thing you know, they work with these clients. So that worked tremendously for me to do that. That skin in the game piece is so incredibly important. I think that, and that's why, there are lots of communities out there. And so you can try them all out. I mean, the truth is you can try out every single community for a month, and then if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. I mean, same with us. People either sign up for the year or they sign up for a month. So you can try a month, you can leave. You don't get the value, great. But to me, like the skin in the game thing is really, really important. You're invested in that, and you're also invested in the people, and the people are also invested in you. Because look, the truth is, I as someone who runs communities, the people in my TEDx Mastery community, the people in my TLB Club community, I am very dedicated to them. Right? I will go out of my way to try to help them out as best I can. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I do the best I can to try to figure it out. And usually when I join a community that's paid, I pay for different things. One is I'll pay for access to the person. Just the other day, I joined a course with Joel Lalchi, and he's a video guy who's done great stuff on TikTok, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. I was like, you know what? I want to learn from him. I invested. I want access to him. Other times you want access to the people. Other times you want access to the resources, right? A library of 200 classes and all that kind of stuff. But for me, like, there's value that I'm willing to invest in. I mean, Lynn, I love how you did $10 and you get 2.5 hours of sessions. Like, yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't even think of it that way. I love how you did that. So I appreciate that. So Melanie, go ahead. You have something you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to what Lynn's point is, because we do, for example, we have a lot of career coaches. And so somebody might be saying, like, and I've even had people like, wow, there's a lot of like quote unquote career coaches. And here's the reality of like, there's a lot of, other areas that I'm not in a paid community, but I, hear about coaches struggling with their business, coaches struggling with, with leads, with, just struggling overall. And I think there's two things that happen specifically in our community is it's a safe space, one, to ask for help. And I've seen that time and time again, not only just for myself, but for others as well. But two, I can learn from the other people that are in my industry. So I'm like, there's times that I will talk blue in my face. I'm like, you need to come and join us. You need to stop trying to do this by yourself and trying to like figure out all of this, because it's almost near to impossible to do unless you have some people backing you along the way. And I can collaborate. I've gotten so many leads from people to work with, but opportunities as well. And so that's, it just starts to open up your eyes to like being able to run a successful business and needing support, because I had no clue folks, I wasn't going to be a coach. I wasn't like, that wasn't, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I never talked about that. I had no clue what I fell into my business. And so I had no clue about running a business in that sense. So I just really want, people to understand you don't have to do it by yourself, and you shouldn't do it by yourself, regardless if you're TLB or any of the other opportunities that are out there in the world. Don't do it by yourself.
I'm going to give that an amen, and I'm going to peace out because I have to go moderate another event. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks. And make sure you follow Lynn. And just so you all know, like, follow Lynn, follow Roy, follow Melanie, follow myself. Check out the TLB Club and the QR code. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is that this is brought to you by the TLB Club. We do a monthly live stream. We do a weekly audio room Clubhouse. We do a weekly masterclass with a guest expert. You can access all these things by seeing what we're up to, and some of the stuff are free to access. So take advantage of it, get to know the members, get to know the community, get the feel for it. And yeah, if you're being part of the community, so many people have commented, like Meryl and Lorelei and Chris Colt and Jay and Terrence and so many people. Chris was there, Daniel was there. So thanks so much for commenting, guys. This is what we do, a monthly live stream, and we like to feature our members, right? So the last couple of live streams I've been featuring our members. We give them opportunities to guest speak in some of our rooms, and that's another value of being part of the community. I want to go to another question, and again, I encourage you to check out the TLB Club QR code there. But the other thing I want to talk about is, how to, maybe do's and don'ts of when you're part of a paid community, right? So let's talk a bit about that, because some people I think are not. People feel guilty, they're not leveraging it, or they're not sure how to use it and things like that. But maybe we can talk a bit about if you're going to be part of a community and you're an entrepreneur and you're joined one, what are some do's and don'ts that I think might be interesting to talk about? Roy, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the do's and don'ts start like this. Don't try and sell to the community. Let me repeat myself. Don't try and sell to the community. It's such a simple thing, but yet is done. So here's the thing. I could be offering, I can give you merch. I can do this. I can do this. But you've never seen me once in any of the TLB, in any of the TLB events or chats or anywhere, ever offer what I can sell to you. What I can offer is how I can help you. Not necessarily with products, but with my knowledge and experience and expertise. So for me, the no-no is do not sell to the community. Yeah. And I've said it 5 times. Let me just say it one more time. Do not sell to the community. I'll tell you what you should be doing. What can I give to the community to help others? What can I give to the community that can benefit others? And how can I support those in the communities to be able to uplift them? Those are the do's. The do not sell to the community.
Melanie, what about you? Let's just focus on the don'ts, and then we'll get to the do's.
Here's what I'm going to say. Leave the guilt at the door, okay? If you can't show up for everything, first off, that's unrealistic. I understand that, you may see, for example, I do show up for a lot of things. I don't show up. I mean, there are times I don't show up for some things with TLB, but I've made that commitment. So that's my personal commitment. So don't judge your calendar by what I'm doing. Start small. I'm going to commit to one thing. But if you can't be to everything, just leave the guilt at the door, because you don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty for not, oh my gosh, I wish I could participate more, because we're all going to have times in our lives where we're going to be a little bit more of a taker than a giver. And then there's going to be a flip where you can give more. And so embrace those times. And that's going to happen with all of our schedules. There was a period of time where I was producing online courses for a company. I was immersed in that. I wasn't doing anything in the TLB because I had deadlines to meet. And so, we all understand priorities, life, things happen. So just leave the guilt at the door and enjoy, and go back to what Roy said earlier, the time that you do show up, be present in that time. Enjoy that moment and embrace that moment.
Yeah, I think in terms of the don'ts that I would get into is, don't avoid paying for a membership community. Honestly, everyone should have a community and a coach that they're actually investing in and paying for, because it's going to provide you incredible focus, accountability, crowdsourcing support everything else. So don't avoid that. And then I think, yeah, don't be there just to sell yourself and to pitch your products. I mean, yeah, it's possible long term if you build relationships, there may be somebody that becomes a client, but that's not the focus of community groups. The focus is to, realize that you don't have to be alone. You want a place to ask questions, to get resources, to get support, just to, to get feedback on stuff, and have a place where you feel safe and where you can share whatever you want, what you're going through, because the ups and downs is so incredibly important. Which actually is my other don't, which is don't ignore, don't avoid us when you're going through stuff. Like this, that's a chance for you to like share, hey, I'm struggling, guys, I'm having trouble. Like that's the time when you need community the most, as opposed to dropping off the face of the earth, which happens. And it goes back to my third thing, which is don't feel bad when you can't make stuff or life happens, or like look, the truth is life happens. If you're not able to be part of the community for a couple months, don't worry about it. If you can't come to calls, don't worry about it. Like people, I find groups feel so guilty, but the truth is, in all the groups that I've been part of, and I've spoken to some of the other groups that have 700 members, 200 members, 100 members, there's always literally 60 to 70% of people who aren't really that active. They're listening, but they're not that active. There's a small 10, 20% who are very active, show up to calls, and you're like, but don't feel bad, because like that's kind of how it is. People want access, they want to share, if something's coming up. So for me, that would be another one of those don'ts. And then I will start with a do, which is do understand every single aspect of value you can get from the community. A lot of people, I spend a lot of my time in my communities educating folks on how to get value from TLB Club. But even the other groups, I see them, they're also educating all the time about, hey, this was going on. Did you know this? Did you know this? And most people don't know. So take time to really understand, where are you going to get the value from the club? Because it could be some people that are there. It could be the call. It could be the library of classes. It could be maybe you need help with a business plan, or help with a marketing strategy, or help with the program. I was on a call with another PLM recently, and he said, yeah, I need help with my LinkedIn profile. I'm like, well, what stops you from posting your profile and getting feedback? He said, I don't know. And I was like, you've been here for months. Like, come on, like, ask the question. We're here to help you. And we are full of like career coaches, LinkedIn experts, personal branding experts, and other things. We have lots of one-offs too. We have tech people, doctors, lawyers, all that kind of stuff. But, do understand the value you get. Most of these communities have an onboarding call. Most of them have FAQ page that tells you everything you need to know. Make sure you understand that so you can get the most out of that community. Melanie, what about you? What's another do for people joining that?
I'm just going to reiterate a couple of things. Participate when you can. Be active when you can. Based on your schedule, just try to get the most out of that. Like for us, for example, like, okay, I'm going to attend one masterclass. I'm going to attend one masterclass every single month. That's literally 45 minutes. And so you can plan that out, and I would say that goes for, I am big on scheduling. So lots of things have to be on my calendar for me to function. So I totally get that, but you can plan that in advance. We're coming into the month of August here. So we know, like where do I want to spend my time? And where am I, learning and growing and educating myself? The other thing is getting to know the other members that are in your community. There's so many resources, regardless of what community it is, that can, when you can form, bonds and friendships and understand what that person does, there's not, like, for example, I'll just name some like our members. I mean, I will say this. Marion, who's doing our masterclass, he's a real life cowboy. So like TLB has a real life cowboy and a former or a Olympian, not former Olympian, a Olympian in our group. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So shout out to Pam Dukes. But, so get to know the people in your community. We have, a book publisher, Tim Jacobs, in our community. If I know somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to do a TEDx talk, guess who I'm referring them to? So get to know your community. What do they do? And is there something that, as Roy mentioned, how can you help them? Just a little bit goes a long way. And truly, we just need a little bit more of that in this world, of others helping others.
I love that. How about you, Roy?
Mine's a very quick sum up. We have a choice when we're in the community. We could either be a participant or a passenger. Choose wisely.
Ooh.
Getting deep. I love it. Okay. Well, that's good.
Roy
Yeah,
is so quotable. Like Roy just
Yeah.
drops these like quotes. Okay.
Well, listen, we're at the end of our hour, guys. I want to thank everyone who's been listening to us speak. I'm a big believer in community and coaching and support. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to wonder who to ask questions to or where the resources are. You find a place of people like TLB Club, and you'll find people that will support you, will answer your questions, will offer resources. I find a lot of people, don't even ask me questions. Like they find out 6 months later, oh, I didn't know you did this, Bobby. They'll say, Bobby, do you have a sample coaching contract? Yeah, I do. Here you go. Bobby, do you have a speaker sell sheet? Yeah, here's mine. Go for it. Bobby, any suggestions on how to put together a brand plan? Yeah, here you go. I've got a template. Like I have all these things that people don't ask me, but then I think about it and I add it to it. And so, we are, as a TLB Club, is an amazing community. Entrepreneurship is a struggle, so make sure you don't feel like you're alone. We believe in a rise tide that floats boats. You get access to me, you get access to Roy, Melanie, all the other amazing people in our community. Click that QR code to join one of our events to learn what it's all about. And again, our price is going up next month, which means that if you log in now and shave your OG rate, you'll have that forever. So you lock that in forever. And if our price goes up multiple times, as we anticipate it will be as we start to grow, then you will have that in for the rest of your life. So make sure you do that. Any final thoughts from you, Roy? And then we'll go to Melanie for any final thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. The TLB is a community that cares about you. If you want to be part of a community where there's an involvement, there's a learning, there's lots that you can get out of it, and you can give something into it, you don't have to think very hard. It's a small amount of money that you're investing, and you're actually investing in yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie. Final thoughts for the conversation today.
You know what? It's something you said, Bobby. If you're on the fence, just pull the trigger. Do it on a month. Participate for a month. See what you get out of it. See who you can connect with, build relationships with, and see what and measure that. Measure that in terms of what you've learned, where what that investment looks like. And truthfully, I promise you're going to be really surprised from that. So, just test it out. 30 days, what can you gain from it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've been part of communities. I've paid for other communities. I run a paid community. There's huge value in coaching, support. And if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, if you don't understand the value, you're not going to know unless you try and show up. I've had multiple people I've talked to, and I always try to get them to show up, and some don't show up. They don't want to show up. And you're missing out on some amazing people that are here to support you. So, make sure you think about that and give it a try. So I want to thank Roy and Melanie and also Lynn, who I had to leave, for being part of this conversation. We do a monthly live stream. We do a weekly Zoom call. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Remember, Rise Tide Lifts All Boats. Come join one of our boats, and we'd love to have you be part of it. Click the QR code. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And hopefully we'll see some of you on the Thursday masterclass call.